What up, what up, what up? This is RJ Fantasy Football Talk. You know what it is. It's Rodney, this Jay. We are a little late, but hey, we here.
Yeah, hey, better late than never.
Yeah.
I guess they always say. What's going on your end? How's the week treated you? How did last week treat you?
I went 2-4. Uh, but hey, it's fantasy. This week really is what starts everything. I think injuries are really killing me. Last week was terrible as far as injuries. I mean, I lost a few people in games I should have won. But I can't do nothing about injuries. I just got to deal with it and keep playing and try to make the best of it at some point. So it's all good though. I'm good. How about you?
I'm in the same boat. Terrible week. I went 3-6 across my 9 leagues. Nothing but losses. But on the plus side, one of my teams did get their first win of the season. So
Yeah.
1-3 in one league. Um, Another one of my teams remains undefeated, so I have one undefeated team left. But the biggest of all is I beat you
You did.
in one of
I
our
lost my
leagues.
quarterback too.
Yeah. I was not expecting to win that one at all. So
Uh,
you
I
know,
mean, I was winning, and then Herbert went down, and it was downhill from there.
yeah,
So I
and
was
that
like,
and that is what killed me in
yeah,
one of
I
my
was like,
leagues. I was like, actually, in several of my leagues where I have Herbert, uh, it just was it was a bad week. Not
I
only
mean,
did Joe Herb did the
Joe
about
Barrow.
yeah about this, listen, not only did Justin Herbert get hurt, but Joe Barrow was awful.
Yes.
It
Oh
continues to be
God.
awful, and I think I mentioned before I have a lot of Joe Barrow, Jamar Chase / T Higgins who also got hurt. Stacks, and it was a terrible week. It was not
Yeah.
great. Welcome Nita to the show. I hope and Orlando Lord's also to the show. Hey, I hope both of y'all had better weeks than that. I see. That's my mom, Orlando. She said she went 50-50. Won one, lost one. What about the producer? How did things go over on your end?
Man, out of the four, I only won one.
So
But the one I won was the league I hadn't won a game in, so I at least have one win in that one
uh,
now.
so no one on the show had a winning record this week. Great.
Yeah, no.
You know what the bad part is?
Yeah.
The where I'm trying to tank at. I can't. I don't know how to tank for some reason.
Yeah.
I can't tank in the dynasty league, man. I don't understand it. Like
He just keep
I'm winning
accidentally
every week.
winning.
I just keep winning for some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why. And I'm like, yo, I'm trying to lose. I put in players that I know ain't gonna do nothing, and I still win. I just don't get it, man. I'm 3-1 in the dynasty league. I'm trying to lose so I can get me a quarterback.
Yeah, in one of my dynasty leagues, that's the league I got my first win of the season in. I was like, I didn't really want to win, but I guess I have to, but because it's just a terrible, terrible week. So I halfway just don't even want to be on the. I don't want to tell people how awful this week was.
Oh man,
So
you
I'm
gotta be up.
hoping on the show that someone's gonna come in and tell me that you had a great week, and then I feel a little bit better about
You gotta
myself.
be authentic, man. So it's
Yeah,
okay. So
Nita,
it's all good.
Tell us how your week went. Hopefully, you went. I know she said she was trying to take like week one. I think
Man,
so.
I don't get it, man, because I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Now, I will say the one thing that worked out for me
uh huh.
is the Russell Wilson trade in the Dynasty League. He's actually been playing well and winning me games.
Here's the crazy part. I don't think he's really playing well. Two of the games that he got great. I mean, I know you're talking fantasy football,
Yes.
so
I ain't talking about regular
yeah,
season. I'm
and,
talking
and
about like
two of them,
fantasy.
if it wasn't for like the last part of it, because I don't understand how the Bears ended up losing that game,
I don't
but
either.
but I'm sure it helped you
Yes,
because
it did.
that
And
rally
that's
they
how
did
I
it
won the
there.
game.
But up
And I
until
beat
then, he's been terrible. But for fantasy purposes, it's working out.
I
I,
beat a guy that had a better roster than me, was supposed to beat me, and
yeah,
I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna lose this week. I'm
yeah,
good. But no, I lost. I won again, and I'm supposed to win this week. And I'm
yeah.
like, man, am I really that? My team ain't that great, to be honest with you, and that's just being real.
Right.
Uh, but I just don't. I got a couple pieces that's doing work,
This
and that's it.
So it's working out. Hey, welcome Will Hayes to the show. Will,
What's going on?
I don't know, you so caught us at the beginning. All of us are had terrible weeks, so please tell us you had a great week. We need somebody with some positive upbeatness. I see Nita said, saw she beat one of her coworkers by 0.2.
You better watch out.
Yeah, watch out for those stat corrections on
stat
Thursday.
correction
We'll see. They get you, but we'll hope that it works out for you. In the Women's Fantasy Football League, she says past awful. I can relate. It's rough. It's rough out here. But hey, week 5 is here for us. So we've got some bye weeks we'll talk about. And of course, if you have some suggestions on people to sub in, let us know. Speaking of the Women's Fantasy Football League, Keisha's joining us. Hey, good to have you on the show. We're just talking about our weeks, and not great weeks over here, but we're hoping you guys have better news to report. Let's see what we can do. I see you, Anita. I'll work on it. See what we got going on. So, do we want to go straight to news? Is there any good news worth talking about?
I mean, there's a few.
Okay, what you got?
We can talk about the Broncos cutting Randy Gregory, who they signed just a year ago for a 5-year, $70 million contract. They want to go young. I want to stay here for a few seconds. They're dysfunctional over there in Denver.
Yeah.
I don't understand what they're doing, what they're trying to do. I guess they're trying to start this youth movement and go from there, but I don't understand. If you sign a guy for that amount of money just a year ago, you're still going to pay him. They say you got to pay him like $27 million over the next 4 years, and he's not even going to be there. So I just don't understand the move. I think it's crazy. I don't know if it's Sean Payton. I don't know if it's the owners, but I just think it's kind of pretty wild that they would do something like this. What's your take on this?
I wish nothing but bad things to Denver, and yeah, but they've had the bad mojo on them ever since my man. Well, it goes back further than that, but especially when Sean Payton came in with his stuff on Nathaniel Hackett's coaching job last year. It seems like that karma instantly hit them. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by any of it. A related kind of story coming out of Marshawn Lynch was with Shannon Sharp. I mean, anyway, on his show, and basically had a whole conversation about Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, and basically it came down to just a second, sounds better, good. Coming down to the fact of Russell Wilson not being maybe the greatest of teammates, not being held accountable for playing poorly, and it made me wonder. Welcome, caller, to the show. I see you, and Will Hayes. I'm glad you and Keisha said y'all had great weeks. All right. It's good to hear. Somebody had better fantasy football success than we did.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Carla might not be happy about the Steelers, but that's coming up a little bit later. But going back to Russell Wilson, I think there's some problems there. And I know the Broncos' problems go way beyond Russell Wilson.
Yes.
But I think that is one of the other issues that team's going to deal with, where Russ ain't who we thought Russ was. Sean Payton definitely isn't who I think they thought he was. They squeaked by and got 2 wins that they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they look like at the end of the season. But I think that's going to be sort of a disaster going on. That's what I was talking about. Nita's talking about Club Shay Shay. Yeah, talking about that's with Marshawn Lynch up there. So he didn't really mess with. I'm paraphrasing because if y'all know Marshawn Lynch, his wording was a little bit more colorful. But he said he didn't really mess with Pete Carroll, and he definitely didn't do anything with Russell Wilson. Talking about that was just a quarterback. So it's and that there's a reason that he's not in Seattle anymore, and I think a lot of that baggage is also over there in Denver. So I don't see good things happening.
Well, I think Marshawn Lynch got a real gripe because
Mm-hmm.
they should have ran the ball, plain and
Oh,
simple.
yeah. That Super Bowl
I mean,
was without a doubt one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
but
Ever.
but what happened was he was trying to get Russell Wilson.
He was trying to
the
let him
MVP.
cook.
He was trying to give him the MVP, and instead of just running the ball to win the Super Bowl, Marshawn Lynch would have won the MVP if he would have ran the ball. And by doing that, he didn't. So they lost. And he has every right to hold that grudge because that was a Super Bowl win that they could have had. And throwing it and just giving it up like that, I think he has every right. Now, I think Russ, to me, and I don't know Russ, we all don't know Russ. I think Russ plays a role. He tries to portray to be somebody that he's probably not. I mean, he does that for the media probably, but he may be a jerk in real life. And when I say real life, I mean off the field.
Yeah.
So he may be one of those guys that's a jerk like that. Who knows? But we don't know. We don't know him personally.
Yeah. Well, his grandpa was the president of Norfolk State University, so I have a connection. I have my people work on it and see what happens. But
yeah, we don't know.
But
But let's move on.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor is back in practice this week. What are you expecting from Jonathan Taylor? Is he going to play? Are they just going to put him out there to see if they can get more value for him? And what do you do with Zach Moss?
I do nothing at the moment because I'm still not convinced that situation is smooth enough. I'm with you. If anything, I think they maybe tried to get the interest back because no one they first said they weren't going to trade him, Jonathan Taylor that is, and then they said okay, see if you can get a trade. Nobody was really interested. So I think they're going to try to get that interest level back up. I think that relationship has soured probably beyond the point of it being salvageable. But one thing for the time that he is there, for however long that ends up being, I'm curious how it affects not so much Zach Moss, because I think if he plays, Zach Moss just takes the back seat for the time being. But how does it affect Anthony Richardson, who's gotten off to somewhat of a pretty good start as the quarterback for the Colts? But a lot of what he does is rushing, and we've seen how rushing quarterbacks and sometimes the primary actual running back doesn't work well together.
That
we'll
could
see
be a case
how those
of,
two affect each other.
It could be a case of Josh Allen in a running back, or when I say Josh Allen in a running back, I mean Josh Allen in the starting running back for Buffalo. You would never have a viable running back play for Buffalo as long as Josh Allen's there, because Josh Allen is a running back. Now Cook is doing well, yes.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me who gets the main carries when it's time, when they need those big runs, they're probably going to go Josh Allen if they need 1 or 2 yards. They're not going to go James Cook. So that's the situation, yes. But I think, honestly, it could work because Zach Moss is getting good yardage.
He's gotten quite a bit of carries.
So
but
he's getting 25, 30 carries a game with Anthony Richardson there. I think Anthony Richardson desires to be more than just a running quarterback. You see what I'm saying? So I think, and that could be, but we don't know. But I like Anthony Richardson. I think a lot of people got it wrong as far as Anthony Richardson, i.e. the guy that's on the show with me. Love you, man, I do.
Hey.
But, I mean, he's shown that he can be a quarterback.
Oh yeah, I've admitted on several times he's been playing really well. Yeah. Still got some question marks on how. And just for the record, I never said it was sort of like my Najee Harris rookie year thing. I didn't say they were bad. I just said the hype might have been a tad bit overblown.
Okay.
And so people talk about Anthony Richardson finishing even as the top quarterback, and I say y'all are out of your ever-loving minds. But even with that being said, Anthony Richardson is playing far better than I anticipated him doing. So good props to him. Hey, welcome Shaq, the third man working on his doctorate. But hey, glad you could join us. Hey, even if virtually, we're glad to have you as part of the third man is always part of the show.
Exactly. So I got one last piece of news that I think everybody will be interested in. It's
Taylor Swift?
No, we're not talking about Taylor Swift.
Okay. Just checking.
It's not fantasy related, but it's kind of like court related. So let's talk about Brett Favre for a minute.
Oh, okay. I was curious for a second. Yeah.
He's going to testify in a welfare fraud case. I think it's $77 million. And he's a part of the case because he did something wrong, obviously. Now, I find it weird that he gets a pass for this, but other people don't get passed for certain things. He stole money. He was already rich.
Allegedly.
We're not going to say allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, but who cares? But I'm not going to say allegedly. I think he stole money.
Yeah.
I think he stole money, and I think he did it on purpose, and now he's trying to cover it up. And I think it's kind of wrong, and I think he should, for stealing money, he should be in jail for that, personally, for stealing money from a school, or I forgot who he got it from, was an AD of school or something. But I think he needs to see some jail time for that, to be honest with you.
It's going to be difficult to really put a crime to just for the situation. Hey, rich people getting money has been, he got, basically, for those who aren't familiar with it, so there was money intended, like you said, to go to people in need, and he got it to go funnel it through to a school. I think I forget exactly how I worded it, but he got a funnel there, and then of course he got his cut. He stole it, as Angela says.
He stole it,
but he gave it back. They gave him. It's going to be difficult to in the eyes of the law. You know what I'm saying? Peg him with some jail time with it, but I'm with you. It's just crooked, underhanded stuff that people in power have gotten away with and continue to get away with. And, it is what it is. I see Carla telling me that there's no Taylor Swift talk tonight. So, okay.
No, we're not
I'm going to respect that, except for the fact that if you're fans of the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason, they are both saying that maybe the NFL slightly overdoing it a little bit, which is extremely true. But the Chiefs are 2-0. In the
she
games
ain't got nothing to do with that.
Possibly.
No, she don't. The Chiefs shouldn't even won that last game they played, Bama.
Yeah, they lucked out. And some people say on a questionable call. Maybe the Taylor Swift effect. they gave them a penalty at the end of that game to have to hold on to the ball, but it's all good. It's all good. Yo, I'm looking at the True Warriors League. Needs to go to court. Some trade crimes. I guess some shenanigans are going down in y'all league.
I don't have nothing to do with that. It's a free league. They trade what they want to, man. You can always say no. I say no all the time, man. Yeah. I mean, if you play with we play with Tron. Tron sends out the most craziest trades.
Yeah.
I mean, all the time, and he definitely. You got to say no to him. You just got to know.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I'm good. I don't need it. Like, it's up to you if you want to do it. It's not my problem.
Yeah.
So,
we've seen some crazy trades so far this year, so it's going on. Hey, let's welcome the Supreme Uncle to the show. Good to have you. I do have some. I have some Steelers news that's coming up in a second. But since you talked injury, people returning from injuries, let's also acknowledge Cooper Kupp coming back. It's practicing as well, eligible to come back next week. Is it over for Tutu Atwell and Puka when he comes back?
I don't sell high.
I think it might be too late to sell high if he's coming back next week, because if you haven't worked the trade out for him yet, you're probably not gonna get one done. But I'm gonna say at least for Puka, because he's breaking records. He's actually ahead of Cooper Kupp's pace, historic pace. So Puka, I don't know if it's gonna completely disappear. For one, I'm still not completely convinced that Cooper Kupp is gonna come back healthy, because I can see that injury nagging, and so they try to work him in slowly. I think Puka can stay at 2-2. I'm gonna agree with you completely. He's gone. He's done. But Puka might be able to. He got the game ball last week. No, you're not feeling it.
No. Because I don't care what nobody say. We all know who's the favorite son on that team. Yeah. His name is.
Oh yeah, no,
Cooper Kupp.
Hey, so Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp went to breakfast every morning, so it's no doubt. There's no doubt.
So I've been screaming, sell high on Puka for the last 2 weeks. I said you need to get rid of Puka right now. If you can get something for Puka, you might as well go get it, and you might as well get something that's long term for the rest of the season. You should have sold Puka 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you, because soon as Cooper Kupp come back, those 15 or 18 receptions are gonna be gone, and I'm telling you now. And
he won't have as many, but I'm gonna say Puka remains a little bit relevant, a little bit.
Just like Allen Robinson was supposed to be relevant too.
No, but that never happened. Like game one,
never happened.
He was Puka actually has a track record with Matthew Stafford. No one else on the entire team has been able to establish any sort of rapport with Matthew Stafford except for Puka. So that's why I'm saying he might have a shot. Nope. I have Puka in one league, and I'm holding on to it, and I'm hoping. Well, he's my Cooper Kupp insurance, because like I said, I'm not 100%, so I'm holding on. 2-2, I might let go. Puka, I'm gonna hold on for now. But I wanted to talk the Steelers, because as you know, at the beginning of the season we did our bold predictions, and I made a lot of noise about the Steelers because last year they had a rookie. Welcome, Justin, to the show. Good to see you.
What's going on, Justin?
But anyway, Steelers last year had a rookie quarterback. The offensive line was pretty much in shambles. T.J. Watt was out for pretty much the entire year, and I was saying that team was terrible. I remember we had some Steelers fans here, and I remember some Steelers fans saying that team was underperforming last year when they were like 2-5 or something to start this year. I was like, no, that's a bad team. They should win like maybe 7 games the whole season. Last year, at the end of last year, they caught fire right after their bye week, and I thought that was going to continue into this year. So if that terrible team won 9 games, this team should be really good, because all the stuff that was wrong a year ago has allegedly, supposedly, on paper, been fixed. The offensive line is still a little bit suspect, but they paid some people some good money. So that should have at least be better. In all the rankings, they were like 4 spots ahead of where they were a year ago. That team is terrible. This Steelers team is completely underperforming. But there's some news, and this is sort of gossip news. I don't think it's true, but I see up there earlier, Angelo's mentioning that Matt Canada being fired would be great news. There's a story out there that Matt Canada's burner account has been discovered, because there's somebody on Twitter that keeps coming to Matt Canada's defense like way beyond what is normal. But someone on Twitter basically just did some investigating and basically went through trying to figure out passwords and came up with part of a email address that they are stating could possibly be Matt Canada in disguise on a burner account on Twitter, defending himself to the public. I don't think it's actually him. There's some people disputing that address wouldn't match what the Steelers one is, but it's speculation. But I'm gonna say it's maybe right speculation, because I can't think of anyone on the planet who has watched that team could come to the defense of Matt Canada, except for apparently Najee Harris and Mike Tomlin are still saying Matt Canada's not the problem. They didn't come to work, but trust me, that burner account story, keep watching. It might be true, because no reasonable person would defend Matt Canada. He's terrible.
Well, Matt Canada needs to go, first of all.
He needs to be gone.
But
Far gone.
I think the problem is Mike Tomlin's very loyal to his people.
The
He's
Steelers
loyal. He's loyal
themselves have
to a
always
fault.
been too loyal. I agree
He's
with
too
you.
loyal to a fault, and he doesn't see that the mistakes that Matt Canada is making. He's running the offense backwards. He's
Yeah.
trying to put Pickett's in more of a position to be more of a thrower when they need to be more running the football more than
Yeah.
anything. The running need to lead to passing.
Did you see the 4th-and-1 where they put Pickett in a shotgun on
Yes.
4th-and-1?
On 4th-and-1.
When do you know how big Najee Harris is? 6'1", 241 pounds. All right, it's a yard. Get out of here.
I mean, but that's what
Yeah.
you see. But if you look at it, they're trying to make Pickett the prototype quarterback nowadays that sits back in the pockets and throws and do these things. That's not him. He needs to balance off of the running game and then let the rest of it open up for him, because that's how they were successful last year at the end of last
At the end of the year, running with
running
Najee.
the ball,
So
and
we'll
then
see.
he became more of a relevant quarterback last year because of that.
Yeah,
Not
that's how
throwing
he
the
gets.
ball first.
I say this. Going back to last year, and we're going to get to some of these questions. Thanks for those that's coming in. After the Steelers' bye week is when they caught fire last week. If you're a Steelers person and you want to hold on to my crazy bold predictions as possibly being true, the Steelers' bye week is next week. I'm hoping when they come back, one, they've addressed some, because Mike Tomlin said they're just not playing physical. They got out physicaled by the Texans of all teams. So they're practicing in pads this week. They're taking the gloves off. They're trying to get tough again. So hopefully that works. But more so, after the bye week, maybe Matt Canada's not there. If they're smart, they're gonna come back from this bye week without Matt Canada as part of it. I see Shaq saying that Mike Tomlin could end up being the next coach because he's the one who's boldly predicted Belichick not being the coach next year, which is looking like he might be right on that one.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
That I seen an article on ESPN, and it said, "Is it time for Bill Belichick to go?" And I thought about
the third man
when I seen that, and I was like, "Man, he was on to something, man."
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't see it coming, but definitely he was on to something. So yeah.
All right, let's hit some of these questions. And I'm with you. I saw Nita earlier mentioning that the Pete Carroll play being up there with Rich Kotite. That's a name from Blast from the Past. One of the worst coaches of all times. Even worse than Nathaniel Hackett, Sean Payton. Rich Kotite was terrible. And that 4th-and-1 shotgun decision, that ranks up there with those terrible, terrible calls. Yeah. Let's see. All right, we got a question coming in for Justin, the Jets fan. Is Zach Wilson for real? He looked for real last week.
He did.
What you think?
I'm
buying it.
I'm gonna say.
I'm not buying it for the season, but if I'm in bye week trouble this week because I have one of those quarterbacks that's out, I'm grabbing Zach Wilson this week.
I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna say no. So I say this: Zach Wilson is getting better with time.
Okay.
And he's getting the opportunity to get time to actually, because obviously the first 2 years wasn't great. Most quarterbacks, that third year is always the jump for most quarterbacks anyway when they come in the league. And this may be, now I'm not saying this is his jump, but he may be getting better this year with the experience that he got from the first 2 years and just seeing things a lot different. Aaron Rodgers could be a part of that equation too, because he could be in the background helping them. So I say, I'm not going to say for real, but I say he's getting better.
And that's all you really want. We've talked many times about starting these rookie guys. All I want for a rookie quarterback like that is some improvement. Yeah. Sort of like Shaq's mentioning the rookie quarterback for the Raiders. I'm impressed with that first game. It wasn't a great first game by any stretch of the imagination, but considering how, Sam Howell has looked so far, I'd much rather like to see what we've got from Aiden O'Connell. So I'm going to buy Zach Wilson, like you said, but slowly, a little bit at a time. Yeah. But I, again, would definitely buy Zach Wilson for this week as one of the It's one of my bye week feelings if I had to replace someone like a Geno Smith or Deshaun Watson or Justin Herbert. And by the way, I see Justin throwing in Adam Gase as possibly the worst coach. That's another great name of a really terrible coach. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that. Chip Kelly, of course. Urban Meyer might take the cake as the worst ever. No. Or Nick Saban in NFL.
No, who was a Washington coach who showed his hand in the preseason? Was it Nick Saban?
No, you're talking about the old ball coach from Florida. Spurrier. Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier might be the worst coach.
Steve Spurrier is another name that definitely belongs on that list.
Steve Spurrier is definitely bad. So,
let's see. I saw a pick one up here. Zay Flowers or Pickens? Who are you starting between those two?
Pickens been so.
They're playing each other.
They've been so disappointed. I'm disappointed. But it's not him though. It's not him.
It's that whole off. It's
Kenny though. For me, it's Kenny, and I think it's offensive coordinator. It's a lot. I still go Pickens. I think Zay Flowers is probably the third person on that team as far as wide receiver.
Okay.
Because you got Ridley, you got Kurt, then it would be Zay Flowers. So I'll go Pickens just because.
I'm not a fan of either one of those, but I'm going to go Zay Flowers only because as long as Matt Canada is there, I'm not trusting anybody. That Matt Canada's awful. Did I mention that?
They missing the tight end. They're missing
Fry. Well, I said Fry move hurt. Okay. You might win me over.
Yeah, who else they gonna throw to? Allen Robinson has been looking like pure trash.
Didn't he look like trash a year ago? Yeah.
So they have no Robinson. They have no. Well, Robinson is terrible. Frymuth is injured. I'm going Pickens because they have to throw the ball sometimes, but they need to run the ball more than throwing it. So when they do throw it, you need to throw it to him because he gets open. The only problem with Pickens is this: he doesn't run routes well. He's not his route tree is not crisp like it's supposed to be. But he's so big, he gets open. He makes these particular plays. So I think Pickens is probably Zay Flowers is the third option in that wide receiving core. So I would go Pickens.
So are you buying Zach Wilson better than Trey Lance after the last performance?
Trey Lance never got an opportunity, so we would never know.
So yes.
No, I'm not saying yes or no. What I'm saying is it's not a fair comparison.
Yes, from what we know so far. Or to be determined. I'll let you have to be determined.
Because think about it. Zach Wilson's played 28 games. Trey Lance played 4. So you can't really compare the two. You know what I mean? Because right now he hasn't played enough games, and Zach Wilson has played a full 2 years. Might well say 3. So to his literally 4 games. So you can't really compare the two. So we'll see in the long run. It's to be determined at this point. So we don't know.
What do you think? What do you think about trading away Karen Williams and Palmer to get Jacobs and Pickens? I like it.
I take it.
I'm not gonna buy into
now,
Karen Williams long term.
Does Karen Williams does he lose any juice when Cooper Kupp comes back?
I think everybody loses juice, at least a little bit on that. But I'm just I say this: Josh Jacobs has to get better, right? You can't be.
You talking about a bad coach? Y'all coaches,
Josh,
horrible.
Did I not throw Josh McDaniels? If I didn't say his name, then yes, he definitely belongs in this grouping of horrible coaches.
God.
But yeah, I just can't believe you can go from the leading rusher, 2,000 yards to complete garbage in a year. We're seeing it happen. but I like the trade because I think he gets better. I think Pickens gets better. Like I said, I'm waiting to see what the Steelers look like coming out of their bye week because it has to be better than what we've seen so far. Will Hayes has go ahead.
So if they get rid of the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, I have a perfect person for them.
Who you got?
He used to be the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He used to play quarterback for the Tampa Bay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And I think he'll be perfect for the offensive coordinator job.
Okay.
And you know who I'm talking about.
Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich would be a perfect offensive coordinator for that job. He should have been the offensive coordinator for that job, honestly. And I think is he on the staff?
Would have to producer look that up for us. See where Byron Leftwich is.
Wait, who?
Byron Leftwich. Yeah, let us know.
Right.
While she's doing that, Will Hayes has a question. You got to pick three. This is running back PPR. You got Joe Mixon, A-Chain, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery. You got to, I think, pick two wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, and Jalen Waddle. Those are some nice choices to have to pick between.
I'm going A-Chain, Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to pick two running backs, right?
Three running backs. So you got two.
A-Chain, Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm definitely with those two. By the way, if you started David Montgomery, congrats to you. I had David Montgomery on my bench in every league, and you guys to watch the show know I'm a big Monty guy. I was at a baseball game, actually watching my beloved Red Sox get their butt kicked by the Orioles, and I saw that he was going to actually play, and I was like, nah, I'm going to leave it like it is. I wish I had started David Montgomery. I wouldn't have lost 6 games this week, but go ahead.
And I'm going,
who are you going with?
Toss-up between, I'm going Jacobs over Mixon because that Cincinnati offense looks horrible right now. And it could get better. Obviously, should get better.
It should. But we said the wild card with the Bengals was how Joe Burrow looks because he was injured in the offseason. So far, that's looking like it's not going to go well.
Yep. I think they rushed him back too quick.
I'm with you. I'm definitely going David Montgomery and A-Chain, and I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. Why? Because it's the Raiders on Monday night. The Raiders are kings of Monday Night Football. They're going to come out of whatever they're in, the funk, and they're going to be better. What about the wide receivers?
Then I'm going, this might hurt a little bit, but I'm going Waddle and Devontae Smith.
I'm 100% with you. I'm not trusting Mixon, and I'm not trusting Jamar Chase. I'm not trusting anything on the Bengals until 3 points?
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, for them to be that good of a team on offense, something ain't right. And to me, it looked like Joe Burrow just can't move.
No, he can't.
He can't move.
Yeah.
He's a statue back there with their leg. And they know it. They just rushed him back, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. In my opinion, yeah.
Let's see. Anita watching some old Randall Cunningham Eagles film. That's hey, he was there. He was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. So I'm always in on that.
Yeah.
What do you think about this team Justin puts out there? Jalen Hurts, Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb, Puka, Waller, Flowers, Broncos defense. The Broncos defense I might have a problem with. And it's going against Jordan Love. By the way, I'm going to finish this. The Broncos are one of the biggest grabs for defenses, and they've looked terrible this year. But going back to this, they're going against Jordan Love, Derrick Henry, who went off this past week. We didn't do our top guys. I don't know.
We're coming.
Yeah, it's coming. We got Gus Edwards, Calvin Ridley, Scary Terry, Andrews. I'm assuming Mark Andrews, Brandon Ayuk, Lions defense. Justin's 2-2 right now. Is he going to 3-2 or 2-3?
Hurts Bijan. Bijan had a good week last week too. Puka had a good week.
And I think he's going to have a good week again.
I think the only question mark for me is Darren Waller in this whole thing. But if I'm him, I'm switching out the Broncos defense for Miami's defense.
That's not a bad play this week.
I
was gonna. It's probably already gone. I was gonna say maybe the Texans if
the Texans or Miami. Yeah. The Texans, Miami, and Detroit are probably the best 3 defenses to play this week. Jordan Love I like Jordan Love. I'm a fan of Jordan Love. He's been up and down, but Derrick Henry definitely played well. Gus Edwards, Calvin Ridley, he didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Christian Kirk may be the 1A on that team.
Yeah.
He loves Chris Kirk. Scary Terry played well last week. Ayuk definitely. I think you win. I just will replace the Broncos defense with either the Texans or the Miami Dolphins. And then Waller is probably your weakest link in this offense because of the way they're playing right now. So I think you win because you got a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Your running backs are better. Your wide receivers are definitely better. It's just y'all probably a wash. If not, you're probably less at tight end than the other team.
Yeah. I will say I'm looking forward to Jalen Hurts having a really big game. That Rams Eagles game, I think it's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
I have Matthew Stafford, so I don't know how well this is going to work on my half, but I still think that should be a really good game. But yeah, I like, for the reasons you say, I like that team better, but definitely switch out that defense. I'm not, and first of all, the Broncos are playing the Jets. You shouldn't be playing them anyway.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he says that he thinks he was playing. He actually says he thinks Zach Wilson sucks. I don't think Zach Wilson sucks yet. He just hasn't been good. I've been saying it since the beginning. I'm giving these young guys time before I pass judgment on them.
Anybody that know me and Justin my guy. Justin my guy. So we definitely he always hitting me up on stuff. So it's cool. That's my guy. He know how I feel about Trey.
It's all good.
He's a Trey fan too, whether you believe it or not. He likes Trey.
And he's also a Yankees fan, so while he's saying Red Sox, oh buddy, I'm gonna say Yankees sitting at home with the Red Sox.
Y'all drinking beers together, watching all these other teams play. Woo!
From the person drinking out of a Kansas City Chiefs mug with 100 losses.
Hey, it's not the Chiefs, it's the Royals.
Royals, my bad. Yeah. The Chiefs can't have 100 losses. Yeah, no, Royals.
The Royals lost 100 games, and I'm still drinking
out of the mug.
That's all right.
Do you have that?
I don't care. It's not the first year they lost 100 games, and it won't be the last.
Speaking of baseball, do you guys have a pick for the World Series?
No.
Any predictions?
No.
My only prediction, this is my baseball life. I root for the Red Sox. I root against the Yankees, and I don't really give a flip what else happens in baseball. So I think I'm going to try to root for Houston, but I don't think they're good enough to go all the way for the World Series. So I don't know. I gotta pick someone I think can win to root for, and I have nothing yet. You tell me, Justin. Who since your Yankees are sitting at home with my Red Sox, let me know who you got going. Welcome, Hans C. to the show. Good to have you with us again. Appreciate you joining in. Hey, this is a good time to mention. Oh, welcome, Captain Embrace, to the show also. Good time to mention, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe if you aren't a subscriber. Appreciate having you guys. I appreciate the questions. Would you start Jaylen Warren over Zay Flowers? I'm not.
Jaylen Warren, no. Jaylen Warren gets carries.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough carries.
He don't do enough with the small carries that he get, honestly.
Would you believe, despite the fact that they do, this isn't a Jaylen Warren comment. Sorry, I'm a Najee guy still. Can you believe this? Despite the fact that he is tragically underused, only got 14 carries this past week. He's still averaging over 5 yards a carry. He's right around 5 yards a carry. Najee Harris.
Yes,
like you have a running back, and did I mention again? He's 6'1", freaking 241 pounds. He's almost Derrick Henry size.
It's the offensive coordinator. Now, can you say the line? Yes, you can.
The line is terrible, but the line was terrible his rookie year when he ran 4,000 yards.
That's true, but again, you got to put some of the blame on the offensive coordinator. They're being too loyal to that offensive coordinator. You have to get him out. At some point, you got to do that. I guess you don't want to change. At this point.
If he doesn't change, going back to Shaq's comment. If he does not change, that's coming back to Mike Tomlin. Now, the Steelers don't fire coaches. They held on to Bill Cowher when a lot of people thought they shouldn't have. He got them a Super Bowl, so it eventually paid off. Yeah. So we'll see, but you're gonna get dangerously close to letting Matt Canada bring you down.
Yes.
And by the way, going back to that Burners account story, the person on that burner account did blame Mike Tomlin for some of the woes. So if that was indeed Matt Canada, then that's another reason he should be fired.
Yeah.
Well, plus sucking at his job. All right, why don't they leave Joe Burrows on the bench? Anita asks. You can't. Joe Burrows is the franchise. And now, for your fantasy purposes, you might want to leave him on your bench if you have Joe Burrow. But for the Bengals, but I will say this.
Isn't that hard to put him on the bench if
you
drafted him so early like that?
Depends on what you did. I have absolutely no problem benching him. I'm about to bench my whole because, like I said, I have Joe Burrow, I've got Higgins, I've got Jamar Chase, and on teams where I can, every last one of them Bamas is about to sit down until they get their lives together. Now, some of them you can't because you took them too early, but I'm not feeling it. Oh, I guess I should have looked at Hans C's avatar. Yeah, I have no faith in your Astro. I'm rooting for them because Dusty Baker's like 175 and still managing, so I always try to root for them. So I am going to be rooting for the Astros. I just don't think it's going to go. I'm hoping. I have hope, Hans, if that helps. It probably doesn't, but nah, I don't, but I'm hoping. Hans also says he was offered he offered a guy, Ridley, for Aaron Jones. He said a wide receiver and needs a running back. Do you think that's a mistake? Actually,
no, I love that trade.
I love Aaron Jones.
I love that trade. Yes, I think that's the trade you make immediately because
if the guy takes it, go. Because I'm with you. I'm not 100. I think Ridley is going to have his weeks, but like you said, Christian Kirk might be the 1A on that team, and so
definitely the 1A.
Aaron Jones is unquestionably the one. Period.
Yes.
There was thoughts. There was thoughts there was going to be a 1A, 1B with AJ Dillon and nope, that never happened. And quite frankly, given the I am loving Jaden Reed, but given the wide receiver situation in Green Bay, Aaron Jones might be the 1A for wide receivers too.
Yeah,
so
he's definitely he escapes out the backfield, get those passes out the back. I think that's a perfect trade. You got to give up one if you got to give up Ridley. At least you Ridley's a name for one, and for two, he is getting touchdowns and stuff like that. He just got to fight with Christian Kirk to get those receptions and touchdowns too. So I definitely agree.
I'm gonna work on your mic too. I'm hearing. Thanks, Hans, for the feedback. Let's see if I turn you up some. I think I just wanted to be louder than you. So
it's all good. I know.
All right. Where did I go? Welcome Keith to the show.
Going on, Keith?
True, but he's going back to baseball. The Red Sox finished the last. Hey, if you're not hey, Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last. So there you go, Keith.
You're last.
Yeah. How long since the Yankees won their last World Series? Remind me again. It's been a minute, right? Okay.
Yeah, I miss baseball stuff. I tell you.
Hey, you need to get into the game.
I'm about to say, he got to get it in when he can get it in, because Yankees fans are the equivalent of, Cowboy fans.
They are very much similar.
Yeah.
Yankees fans, Cowboys fans, Alabama fans, Notre Dame fans. I throw them all in the basket together. If I will talk bad about your teams every time. And Lakers fans. Let me throw Lakers fans in that bunch too, because I don't like any of them. So let's go with it. All right, let's hit back up here on some of these questions again.
And was that Justin? Logan Thomas.
We did Warren and Flowers. Still waiting on Lamar Jackson jersey. Oh, I guess that's to my producer. I think she lives in Maryland. Maybe that's.
Hey, did you say to me? Hold on. You need to throw that somewhere else. I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't even have a jersey. So why am I going to get somebody else one?
But you do have them on your dynasty team. So you might want to get yourself a jersey. And,
I'm about to say, I don't even have, I have the ultimate jersey I want, and I don't even have that. So I can't get anyone else a jersey until I get mine. That's me being selfish.
That jersey is still on hold. We'll see what happens with it. Here we go. I got Myers, Warren, Gabe Davis, Tank Dell, Drake London. You need one wide receiver and one flex out of that
That
list. Who you going with?
Myers.
Okay.
Jimmy G supposed to be back this week, hopefully. He liked throwing to Myers, so I'm gonna say Myers.
Monday night again, so
I'm
hey,
not playing Warner at all. Warner's not even
Warren's
getting in
not
the lineup. Yeah.
not enough touches.
And
Gabe Davis isn't doing it for me. I'm going
I
Tank
have.
Dell.
I was gonna say Tank Dell,
Mm-hmm.
but
You're not
I'm
thinking
half
Drake
tempted
London,
to
are you?
say, huh?
You're not thinking Drake London, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm half tempted to say Gabe
Davis? You?
Gosh,
This
halfway.
this might be a first.
Oh gosh, that hurt. I mean, Gabe Davis been playing well the last couple of weeks. I will give you that, but I'm gonna say Myers, no Warner, no Drake London. It's between Dell and Davis.
Yeah. I'm not. Those would definitely be my top choices. Like you said, after Jacoby Myers.
Yes.
But right now, the way C.J. Stroud is playing, I
Yeah.
want that action. I want that
Yes.
action. I don't know why Nita's saying I'm stupid. I think Dusty Baker is about 117. I don't think I'm off on that. I might be a year or two off, but I'm close. I'm in the ballpark.
God. I'm in the ballpark.
I love Dusty Baker, by the way. I really do. Who do you prefer, Logan Thomas or Conklin over Waller?
Neither one get enough targets.
Yeah.
If you can get Ferguson, try to get Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson?
Yeah, try to get Jake Ferguson.
What do you... Hold up, no, he got hurt. As I said, Luke Musgrave, I think, is still hurt.
He got hurt.
He got hurt, so yeah, he can't go there. If I got to pick between... Yeah, I'm with you on Jay Ferguson. I have him in a few leagues myself.
Yeah.
I see earlier just to say he picked up Njoku. Njoku's been such a huge... You know who Njoku reminds me of? Well, first off, a good thoughts and stuff going there because he had a little incident with a fire pit, so I'm glad he ended up all right with that. But for me, Njoku is just a constant disappointment. He reminds me of who's the tight end that was playing in Tampa Bay, and every year people kept saying, this is going to be O.J. Howard. That's who it was. Howard. Every year, O.J. Howard. Yeah. This is his breakout year. This is the year. This is the year. The year has never happened. The year's never going to happen. And so I'm just.
I mean, honestly, tight ends are a real disaster this year. I mean, if you can get 8 to 10 points from your tight end, you're probably doing really good. But if I'm Justin, if Fergus is not available, I would say try to trade for him because Ferguson gonna get you some, but I would say try to trade for Ferguson or something, man, because he about the only one that's productive right now. Out of, if you're not talking about Kelsey or like the Kittles or whatever, Kittles or Andrews of the world, but once you get past those guys, it's not much there. Pitts can't even get a catch out there in Atlanta. So tight ends are horrible, to be honest with you right now. So
yeah, need to talk about where the Yankees have championships. Okay, so do the Raiders. When was our last
Cowboys?
One? Huh?
I said so do the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys. Yeah. So,
oh, God.
Yeah, tell me what you got years ago, and okay, that's cool. But yeah, I'm gonna say the Raiders are the team of the decades.
Oh gosh.
When was the last decade they were relevant? The 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
Yeah, good job with that. But hey, hang in there. Who are you going with this for your team defense this week? Washington versus Chicago or the Jets at Denver?
Washington.
Or someone else. We were talking some defenses earlier.
The top 3 defenses are Detroit, Miami, and I said one more. Who was the other one?
Well, I think earlier we were talking about the Texans because they play
The
the
Texans.
Falcons.
The
If that's
Texans.
what you're thinking of.
Yeah. So, but if you're asking me to pick between those two defenses, I'm going Washington because they're playing Chicago. And Justin
I
Fields looks shaky at times.
I say
The
this. I think the Jets are the better defense, but somehow miracles keep happening
happened
for
for
Russell
Denver.
Wilson.
Yeah, so
So
I'm
that kind of
going.
scares. So I'm gonna go more so with who's the worst offense, and I'm
Yes,
with
I'm
you
going.
for those two. I'm gonna go with Washington as well,
Washington. Yeah,
because the Bear. We talked about earlier about the Broncos being in shambles. The Bears
Bears.
are, and they were this close to winning, and just like nah, never mind. I
Yep.
don't. I still don't understand how they lost that game.
Nope.
Needed still going back to your tight end suggestion. Nita picked up Ferguson today, so good. That's a good waiver pickup.
Ferguson is definitely
We're
a good pickup.
talking bye weeks. This is the first week of bye weeks. It to this point, you've probably been able to just get by, except for injuries. You've been able to get by with whatever you drafted. But we always say this is when the real fantasy football managers stand up because you
Yep.
got to navigate through. You got four bye weeks coming up this week. You got the Browns, you got the Seahawks, you got the Chargers, and who did I leave out? There, Browns,
Seahawks,
Chargers,
Chargers,
and
Seattle. You said Seattle?
did
Oh,
I
you
say
said
Seattle?
Seattle. You said
Seattle
Seattle.
Chargers. Seattle Chargers. I should look at our social media because I put it
Yes,
there.
put it up there.
I left out the Bucks. That's who it is.
Bucks,
It's the Bucks. So if you have players on those, yeah, this is the week you need to probably put in some good bye week. So if you, for instance, I'm trying to think on that group, Ferguson probably wasn't a replacement for any of those players because I can't imagine you having any one of those tight ends.
No, but I
No.
think Ferguson's just a good
you know,
play.
he's a good play
period,
anyway. But if you
for the
have
year.
questions
Yeah.
about, if you have players, most likely I'm thinking quarterback replacements
Mhm.
from that group. If you have some questions about that, let us know. Yeah, any defense that plays the Bears is a good start right now. Huh? Yeah, 100%
Yeah,
because
that is definitely true.
they don't know. Nita says, what about Justin Fields going to New England? She says with Belichick, but maybe Belichick's not there, according to our third man report. Justin Fields with Mike Tomlin, if he's right.
I think
You-
Justin Fields in Atlanta more than anything, and I'm saying that
Because they don't like to pass the ball anyway, so,
I think
maybe
he's
that's the place.
he's a perfect fit for that offense. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying because the question is this: Justin Fields is in his third year. Are they picking up his fifth year option?
No.
That is not there. We don't know yet. If they don't pick up his fifth year option, that means he's playing next year on his fourth year,
Yeah.
which is pretty much his last year of that deal. Now, do they trade him before that to try to get something back, or do they say we're gonna let you play it out and do a Daniel Jones situation where they just pay him or overpay him for just because they can't find another quarterback? I think he's not there.
Yeah.
I think because a lot of quarterbacks are coming out next year, and they say right now that Chicago has the number one pick in the draft at this moment.
Did you see someone projecting the Bears might actually end up with the first two picks in the
Yes.
draft? One of them may be Caleb Williams. We talked before. Does Caleb Williams say, "Nah, I'm good"?
If I'm but Caleb Williams' dad has already came out and
Yeah.
stated that it depends who's at the top of the draft if he comes out. If I'm him, I don't want no parts of Chicago. Chicago will have to go get a offense of
I want a new coach.
Yes.
I want
I
a new
want no part
general
of it.
manager. I want a new owner. I don't want any
again,
part of the Bears.
Because a lot of, and I know people don't like to hear this, and I know this is a new age thing, but players are in more control of where they go in the draft than you think nowadays, because they can say, with NILs and things of that nature, they can say, I don't want to go to, I don't have to leave. I'm making enough now where I'm making more than some rookies. I can stay in school. And that's what Caleb Williams is doing. He's making about $4 million in NILs. He don't have to go to the NFL. He don't have to.
Yeah.
So But
Yeah,
if
just
Justin Fields need a real offensive minded coach
yeah.
in a system where he can thrive, and that's a lot of quarterbacks right now. They're playing in bad situations, but good quarterbacks. I mean, when we get to the quarterbacks, you can explain to you why I think Justin Fields is a good quarterback. It's just right now he's not in a good system, and that's part of it. Now, can New England be it? New England problem is they don't have any receivers to throw to. First of all, he want to build on the running the defense, but he's so old school. Third man said it. I got to give it to him. You can't. He's not evolving with the times.
Hmm.
So defense, running game, they may win you regular season games, but that's not going to win you Super Bowls now because you have to have somebody that can make the throw. And Mac
Well,
Jones is not that guy.
it can win you Super Bowls if you have a really good defense and Tom Brady. If you've got
But
Mac Jones, no,
yeah, no,
nah,
not
that
it. No.
ain't happening. Let's hit this question for Carla because it actually connects to a Justin question about your thoughts on Jahmyr Gibbs and would you play Jahmyr Gibbs or James Conner this week?
I'm playing Connor.
Yeah,
I like Gibbs, but I feel like
I love Gibbs long term.
with Montgomery there, Gibbs is never going to get a chance to be that guy. And
Mhm.
they're using him wrong anyway. For me, if they're going to use him, they need to split him out, let him have some
Okay.
plays in the slot, put him against a linebacker. Because if you put him in the slot, you can get either a third corner, you can get that safety dropping down, or you can get a linebacker that's covering him, and he beats them every time. So
Yeah.
for me, you got to play Jahmyr Gibbs that way. You don't run him up the middle because he didn't play that way at Alabama.
Yeah.
So you got to play him as a Eckler type running back.
I think a lot of people are disappointed. On social media, you see a lot of new people upset with how they're using David Montgomery over Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not mad at it.
They're using him the right
because,
way.
Yeah, they people say, oh, they used a high draft pick on Jahmyr Gibbs, but they spent a lot of free agency dollars on David Montgomery. I don't understand how people didn't expect this to be a timeshare. Now I get it if you're wanting some more Gibbs from what you've seen, and I think you will towards the end of the season. I think they're gonna start to work him in more, but for me right now, I do buy low on Gibbs, but I don't pay a lot for him. Monty's has been except for when he gets hurt. David
Yeah.
Montgomery has always been a workhorse, like Justin just put in there. So
But
I played James Conner this week over Jahmyr Gibbs until I see Jahmyr Gibbs start to pick up more touches in the offense, or like you said, they use them a little bit differently.
They gotta use him different. I mean, and that just go back and watch him at Alabama.
Yeah.
And the way they used him at Alabama, he was used that way in Alabama for a reason because him and Najee was not Najee. I'm sorry. Not Najee. I'm tripping. I'm sorry. The running back from Atlanta. They were in the same backfield together.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Tyler Algier.
Tyler Algier.
Mhm.
Was it Tyler Algier in the backfield with him?
I'm
I'm trying to
not sure
think
what
who was he was at Alabama. I do know that. I forgot who
Okay.
was in the backfield for. But he was used more as a Eckler type running back where he
That's
was spread
Jahmyr
out.
Gibbs' skill
That's
set.
his game
Yeah.
though. You're not using him to run through the tackles and that's what they're trying to do. He's too small for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's perfect for David Montgomery. So yeah.
He's bigger, he's a bigger running back. So
Yeah.
of course.
So thanks for the question. Appreciate it. Yeah, definitely go James Conner because hey, he continues to be that workhorse. Caleb Williams better play John Elway or Eli Manning. You know what I'm saying? Pick any one of those guys. I'm with you. I'm not going out to play for the Bears. I think everyone that's on the Bears should probably leave at this point. Just more comments again. Yeah, that Gibbs is small. Monty's a workhorse. Jamal and Smith. Yeah, DeAndre Swift. By the way, he is balling
Yes.
over there.
And I don't see why they should not
Yeah.
give him the ball. Like he's playing well.
Yeah. Apparently, Nita saying she offered her sister a trade, so waiting for you to respond back.
Did you respond to my trade? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
she says. My mom also says she's pulling for Stafford, from the bench for Herbert on bye. You got Brandon Cooks or Curtis Samuel for Amari Cooper on a bye week. That's a
how
tough.
about how
None
about
of the
neither?
above.
How about
Yeah,
neither?
yeah, yeah. If
How
I got
about
to pick between those two, I'll probably go Curtis Samuel. No, I
how
don't.
about
I go
I
Brandon
get
Cooks, but I'm looking elsewhere if I can help it.
I'm gonna give her a free one because that's
Okay.
mom deuce.
Yeah.
Tell her go get you need to go get Michael Wilson from the Arizona
It's
Cardinals.
not a bad pickup.
Um, he is somebody right now who you can get pretty much in any league. He had a good game last week,
Yeah.
definitely. Had an all right game the week before, had a good game last week, and he just became the number two receiver on a bad Arizona team
Yeah.
that's going to be behind pretty much every week, and they're going to be throwing the ball a whole lot. So I would definitely go Michael Wilson from Arizona before any of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not trusting
So,
either one of those guys. For one, Brandon Cooks just doesn't get enough looks.
hmm
Curtis Samuel has a terrible quarterback,
Yep.
and at best, the odd thing about Curtis Samuel is he's at best the third wide receiver, but
Yep.
sometimes he outperforms the first two. So I could somewhat get why you might go there, but yeah, I'm looking. I'm with you. I'm gonna look elsewhere to get my points if I can possibly. That's yours. It's not a bad choice. I'm trying to guess at which league we're talking because I can access some of her stuff. I see Marvin Mims is available, but I don't know if I like it this week.
Is
With
Wilson
the
available? I would definitely go
Yeah,
Wilson.
Wilson is available.
I would go Wilson in a heartbeat.
If I'm looking in
Wilson
the
over
right if
Mims.
I'm looking in the right league. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got a Emmanuel Ferguson sighting. Welcome to the show. Appreciate
Going
you joining
on.
in. Uh, Bears need the replacements. Yes, yes. Just. It's a dumpster fire.
yeah.
Just burn it down to the ground and start over. They just said Arthur Blank is all in on Desmond Ritter. Yeah, they could have. I'm surprised when Lamar Jackson was available, there was no interest
They,
because
they can't be all in on Desmond Ritter. They cannot be all in on Desmond Ritter. They can't
not
be.
from anything we've seen.
Not even last week, but Desmond Ritter is just not a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I mean, that's obvious now. Do you give him time, another year? Maybe. But no, man. Desmond Ritter, you can do better. Honestly.
yeah.
You can do better. In my
Let's see. Looks like Javonte Williams is out, and you have Brian Robinson, Jalen Warren, and Kenneth Gainwell for Javonte Williams. Who are you starting on that group? I would have said Kenneth Gainwell back in the days.
How about go
I
pick
think
up his back
I
pick
take
up
my
his backup. Pick
yeah
up Javante Williams backup. He came in the game last week.
yeah.
Pick him up.
Let me see if I can look
I'm not
over
gonna give
there.
you that freebie. I gave you one already. So I
Well, the whole show is giving freebies. What are you talking about?
can't give you that freebie. Look.
That's your job. The one job you have is to give fantasy football advice.
She not playing against you, so you should go ahead and give her some.
Jaleel McLaughlin is the name that he doesn't want to give you. Yeah, that if not him, I would go Brian Robinson. But I'm not again not trusting Jalen Warren because he doesn't get enough
Nope.
touches.
Kenneth
Kenneth
Gainwell, no.
Gainwell similarly. As long as DeAndre Swift is killing the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson was on the Commanders. Is that the running back you were thinking about? Justin giving you a freebie.
Yeah, I
Trying to
appreciate
finish
it.
what you were
Appreciate it.
trying to say.
Appreciate
Calvo,
that,
welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here. Would y'all trade Jamar for Swift? Jamar Chase for DeAndre Swift, or Kenneth Walker. His receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman. Running backs, though, are terrible. Alexander Mattison and Rachaad White. I'm surprised Rachaad White's not better. I really thought, but he might not. I thought for certain he had that position on lock. So I'm all in on this trade, or doing a trade. Jamar Chase, I wouldn't give you DeAndre Swift for Jamar Chase right now. I don't know.
I mean, if somebody wanted,
if somebody wanted to do it,
you must do that. Yes, you do that quick, fast, and hurry.
But I do believe there'd be someone willing to buy low on Jamar Chase. Are they selling high on DeAndre Swift? Probably not. But Kenneth Walker would be a nice. It doesn't help you out this week, but Kenneth Walker would be a nice consolation prize. Given the running backs that you have, I'm all in on trying to find a trade, and I think Jamar Chase has enough value historically. You should be able to get
just by name, you should be able to trade him.
You should be able to get somebody to move on that. So thanks for the question. Appreciate you. If you haven't already hit like and subscribe, please feel free to do that for us just now. All right. Appreciate it. Riller only throws short. Sadly, and that's if he does that.
That's when he throws.
Like I'm about to say, if he throws at all,
when he throw the ball.
Yeah. Would you start Wan'Dale Robinson, or why is there so many Jaylen Warren questions today? People are desperately trying to put him in their lineups.
No, please don't. Please don't. Look, please don't.
I might start him over Wan'Dale Robinson, but I would ask, why are you trying to start Wan'Dale Robinson?
I'm not starting anybody from the Giants. I'm sorry.
No one that's not named Saquon. Saquon, I think, is the only playable Giant on the entire roster. Even if he's hurt, I would play him over Wan'Dale Robinson. Just
no. I would go a different direction.
Can you believe Daniel Jones is making $40 million this year?
I want to talk about that.
Go for it.
I want to talk about that
because I was watching this week. I was like, they gave that fool $40 million. Go.
So I want to answer Nita's question first.
Yeah.
About I know she's in Atlanta, and I know she listens to the local sports shows.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in on Desmond Ridder. You can't be all in on Desmond Ridder. I'm sorry. I understand the Michael Vick situation was horrible, and the way he kind of messed that team up.
I don't even think Lamar Jackson has dogs, but continue.
But it ain't even about that. It's about the fact that when you tell your team fans, we don't care about throwing. This is a throwing football league. In order to win any really big game, Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game, you have to throw the football. They ran the ball so much last week, and they only put up 3 points, 7 points, something like that. The thing is, they didn't score nothing but like a field goal or a touchdown, and they ran the ball.
Yeah.
This is what I'm telling you. Bijan averaged 7.5 yards per rushes last week, and they lost 24-7. You have to throw the ball. Drake London has not got over 5 catches in one game this year, and you drafted him in the top 10 last year.
Can you believe somebody actually sent me a trade of, I can't even remember what they wanted Sam Laporta for Drake London. I was like,
Drake London. And the thing
why would
I
do that?
Is not even a bad wide receiver. Just
he's
like
Kyle Pitts, he's in a bad situation. Yeah,
they're in a bad situation to where he's satisfied with a quarterback who can't throw halfway short anyway. Let's be real. And he wants him to run the ball. He gonna get himself killed running the quarterback. So you got 3 running backs that you're running, and you got another quarterback that's running. It don't make sense. I mean, I get it, Nita. I get it. But I'm just saying from a fantasy football and a football person that loves watching it, it doesn't make sense for them to be all in on a guy that they can't win with. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't get it at all. But yeah, they and Anita says she's heard them say it, and I've heard it too. They're in. But in the back of my mind, I think they're saying they're in. There's no way you can watch that and be like, yeah, this is good. I don't understand that whole situation. Of course, I don't like that coach. I don't know why you draft a Kyle Pitts and a Drake London and use
don't
neither
use
one of them. But I also didn't understand why you drafted Bijan Robinson when you had a guy who just did 1,000 yards. I don't understand anything that's happened in Atlanta. I saw Nita also asked earlier about the Hollis family, if they're still I think they are, if I remember good. It's still in the family, that team. And going back to an earlier thing about Byron Leftwich, no, he is not on that staff anymore.
Where's he at now?
At home, I think, chilling.
He need to be coaching.
Yeah.
But back to this Daniel Jones situation, right?
Daniel Jones, yes.
We're never gonna get to these running backs, but that's fine. This is part of the show. We love y'all. Appreciate the questions.
Yeah.
Appreciate the conversations. But
we still haven't done. I forgot. Yeah.
But let's talk about Daniel Jones for a minute.
He's terrible. Yes. Continue.
Talking to Keith, he's a New York guy. He listens to his New York sports or whatever. Daniel Jones doesn't get blamed for anything that's going wrong on this offense. He gets the offensive line get blamed. The coach throwing a tablet gets blamed. The defense a little bit. They blame the special teams coach because the special team wasn't playing well. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Is the special teams coach throwing that interception that was a pick six that went the other way? Or was that Daniel Jones throwing to the receiver who went the opposite way, who ran the right route, but he threw it to the outside and then threw 2 more picks in that game? Those are decision makings of a quarterback. But again, like I always tell people, Daniel Jones is being made by Saquon. Saquon is the reason why Daniel Jones is successful. And what happened was the Giants panicked. Like I told Keith, I would have let him hit the open market and see what your value was. Because you would have came back running saying, you know what, I'll take this $25 million that you want to give me. Because there's no way I'm giving you $40 million to be mediocre.
I 100% say if they hadn't given him $40 million, no one else was going to. He would have hit the free market and maybe got, if he's lucky, $30 million.
No, he would have got.
If he's
Jimmy Garoppolo got 20 from y'all.
Yeah,
21, 22, something like that.
But he's younger, and so that's why I said maybe you get a young boost.
But you got.
But yeah, but I'm with you. He doesn't deserve 30. He doesn't deserve 25.
And not counting the man pocket, but you got to go back and look at when Saquon was hurt that whole year. What did he do? He did nothing. When Saquon came back the year after that, they made the playoffs because of Saquon. The one win that they have this year where they came back is because of Saquon. So what I'm saying is this. Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. New York can say, you know what, it's the O-line. The coach came out this week and apologized for throwing the tablet down, which makes no sense to me.
The tablet didn't do anything to him. The tablet didn't call any plays.
Really?
Yes.
You can call the plays to Daniel Jones all day long, but it's his job to execute them.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he should apologize for throwing a tablet, just like Tom Brady. Tablets have done no one any wrong. Tablets are just tools for us to use.
That's frustration. You know it.
Daniel Jones. Then go punch Daniel Jones, because that's who you're frustrated with.
Keith was like, man, like he was about to cry.
Yeah.
I said, I know. Did you see it? I said, man, he looked like he was about to cry.
Yeah, that team was terrible. Talking bye weeks, the Seahawks are on a bye week. If you need a replacement for Geno Smith and Tyler Lockett, who are you going with? If you got Quentin Johnston and Rondale on your bench, are you playing either one of those? I might play Quentin. My whole mic is about to fall down.
Quentin Johnston or Rondale Moore. I'm not even touching Rondale Moore.
Oh, no, you can't play Quentin Johnston this week either, because Quentin Johnston's on a bye just like Tyler Lockett, now that I think about it.
Yeah, so no, you can't. Either one of them.
So Rondale Moore is your only option.
No, it's not, because he shouldn't be on nobody's roster personally, but this is my opinion. But
What about his quarterback, Josh Dobbs? You play Josh Dobbs this week if you need a
Yes.
quarterback to fill in
You
for a
play
bye
Josh
week.
Dobbs all day long,
Okay.
but you don't play Rondale Moore. No.
I'm with you.
Mm.
So we got any more freebies on wide receivers you're throwing out?
I gotta keep giving out freebies tonight, man. I guess
That's-
it's part of
again,
You're not playing her, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yes, God dang it.
Look, you're not
Um,
playing in that league for money. Ain't no money on the line.
Yeah. Come on, man. We pay you to give people fantasy football advice. That's why they call it R&J Fantasy Football Talk.
Otherwise,
give
it's
up.
just gonna be Jay because he's the one who's stealing everything.
Nah,
What you got? Well, start with the easy one, quarterback. You said Josh Dobbs. I would also look to see. We talked about him maybe not being great, and it was only one game. I actually like Mac Jones this week. I mean, not Mac Jones. I'm sorry. Never told me. I was. We y'all know we haven't talked Mac Jones except for saying he was bad. I meant to say Zach Wilson. I meant to say I would trust Zach Wilson this week.
Okay.
Because he plays Denver, and if he's gonna get the momentum off last week, and
You're
we
messing
talked
up, Jay.
earlier
You're messing
that we saw earlier that Denver defense is terrible and in shambles.
I
Zach
give-
Wilson's a good one. In addition
give
to
you
the
one to
Josh
play.
Dobbs you said before.
Sam Howell against Chicago is a good one to play. Sam Howell against Chicago. Sam Howell actually played well last week.
Okay.
He put up
I just wasn't expecting you to suggest
No,
Sam Howell.
because I
Okay.
mean Chicago is a really bad.
I mean,
defense,
because it's Chicago.
Yes, I mean,
I
but
get
if you
that.
need it's a bad week quarterback. If you need a bad week quarterback, definitely Sam Howell.
Would you go Sam Howell above Josh Dobbs or Zach Wilson this week? Not arguing that it's a bad one. Sam Howell, for like you said, just because it's Chicago.
Chicago.
Isn't a bad one.
Sam Howell over Josh Dobbs or Zach Wilson. I'm gonna say Sam Howell over Zach Wilson.
Okay.
But Josh Dobbs is kind of a flip because Josh Dobbs actually has been playing really good football.
He has.
So,
He's
I
been
would say-
surprisingly good.
I would say Josh Dobbs over Sam Howell a
Okay.
tad bit, but Sam Howell this week against Chicago is a really good play too, in my opinion. So
Okay. What about the wide receiver spot? We talked some earlier. I know you said Wilson.
Wilson is definitely a play this week.
And if you're going to play Josh Dobbs, you stack it with Michael Wilson. So,
Yeah. Thielen this week is a good play.
okay.
He's been a good play for the last 2 weeks, actually. Thielen definitely is a good play. I don't know if anybody has Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed, he doesn't he only really benefits you if your league counts return yards. But if your league counts return yards, Rashid Shaheed is probably a good play as a receiver this week because he can get you good return yards from a kicking.
Hey, never neglect those special teams guys. Like, it's not working out right now, but Braxton Berrios a couple of years ago was a
Yes.
great bye week replacement because of what he gave you for special teams. So,
Yes.
yeah, I feel you on that.
He's definitely one. It's tough because running backs are very thin, but like wide receivers are not as thin.
Yeah.
But my top ones would be like Thielen, Shaheed, Wilson. Those three definitely you should play this bye week, and probably you can play them kind of not going forward, but you can mix them in if they start to have good games, especially Shaheed. Shaheed is definitely somebody you need to have in your lineup every week. I've been playing him in my lineup every week, and he's been doing good numbers for me. So, but Wilson looks like a guy that could take a lot. He can get a lot of touches in Arizona just because the fact they're losing, and they're gonna be throwing a lot. So, Wilson is probably top of the list, and then from there you kind of go down to Shaheed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Would you gamble because I'm thinking matchups?
Okay.
Is not a reliable guy, but the Chiefs play the Vikings in what should be another one of those barn burner games.
Addison.
Well, okay. I don't think Addison would be available. Oh, there was a question earlier about your thoughts on Addison. I don't know if we ever addressed it.
No. So I like Addison. I just think Kirk Cousins has a one-track mind. He reminds me of Matthew Stafford so much in that sense.
Well, it's the same offense. It's Matthew Stafford's offense and Justin Jefferson. So maybe that's part of the offense that you only can throw to one guy. I don't know.
So he throws to Jefferson quite a bit. He doesn't. To me, I think Addison, if he was to give Addison a chance, I think Addison would be, they can be 1A, 1B as far as receivers.
They could be.
So I think if he was to give him more opportunities, I think he threw the ball some one time last week and it got a pass interference called on the defense. So I think I like Addison. I think Addison is going to be a good receiver. I think Kirk Cousins just has kind of a one-track mind when he only wants to throw to Jefferson and then that's it. And I think he kind of break away from that. Now, that's the biggest thing for Matthew Stafford now, because if Puka is to sustain any relevance going forward when Cooper Kupp comes back, he has to be more open-minded to throw to both of them and just not Cooper Kupp. So now the same thing for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has to be open-minded to throw to not just Jefferson, but to Addison. And that's what it comes down to.
I wasn't going to go with Addison. I was going to say perhaps, because I just don't, Addison shouldn't be available, even though he hasn't been,
I mean, a lot of people
but he could be. But I was going to say, do you gamble on one of the Chiefs wide receivers, perhaps, if there's a Sky Moore or Rashee Rice available? Do you?
I would say Rashee Rice over Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney's not gonna make my life. He's hurt me too much this season.
So I would say Rice definitely. I think just because of the fact that it's just hard to tell who gets the ball in that offense. Because Kelsey, if it ain't Kelsey, then you got to kind of distinguish which receiver gets the touches or less touches. But I mean, Rice is a good play. It's just you have to kind of what you think you're getting from him. You have to kind of temper it down just a little bit because those guys are not gonna get as much.
I usually wouldn't suggest those at all. I just think this game has the potential to be. We're probably not gonna have time to do like we normally go through every game, but maybe if there's some players that you suggest people pick up, especially for this week, you can throw those out at will. But I think this week has some potential for that game, at least to be a lot of points scored. But it's kind of a hit and miss. But on bye weeks, that's kind of what you're going for. You're kind of just saying, hey, can I get some points, any points? Because a point is better than 0. So, and that's what you basically have with your bye weeks. So
it's just tough because right now, fantasy football right now is not a lot of good receivers.
There's a lot of questionable guys, but that's the crazy thing about wide receivers. A lot of times, it'd be guys. Who was it a few weeks ago? Everybody was saying you need to have. We're trying to guess the right wide receiver to pick. I think it was for the Chargers, and it turned out to be none of the above, and it just be this random guy who just gets touchdowns, and you just that's the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like I feel like these bye weeks this year are going to be a lot tougher than years before.
Yeah,
because the running backs are way more watered down now this year, just like the receivers are watered down a little bit now. If you don't have obviously the top receivers in their own bag, you're probably going to end up getting what you can to try to fill in the roster. And like you say, this is where really you start to manage the team to say, all right, I got to pick a guy and I got to say, you know what, hopefully, and you got to pick the right guy to say, hopefully he gives me something to win the game. So that's what you're looking at, really. And maybe you get that, maybe you don't, but you at least have to try to get one of those guys. But those, like I say, those three I gave you, three receivers are definitely ones I'm playing this week.
Yeah.
So
we got some more comments on Byron Leftwich. Yeah, I mean, he was that. It was crazy because just a few years ago, going back to that Super Bowl, they highlighted that they had like Bucks made history with 3 black assistant coaches. And now I see the comment here that Byron Leftwich was a quarterback coach in Pittsburgh, and I don't understand how he didn't end up with. I'm not sure what the situation was with Tampa Bay, with why he's not there anymore either. But I don't know.
Was I supposed to be looking up about him?
Yeah, you were supposed to look up about him.
I mean, I did, but I didn't understand what I was supposed to be looking for.
Just about
where he was at.
If he has a job. So I don't think he's
at home on his couch.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
he's at home on his couch, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
but hey,
he was let go by the Buccaneers according to Wikipedia after the 2022 season. So he just got on this couch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think he's on that staff anymore, but
he needs to be coaching somewhere. But
yeah,
especially in Pittsburgh, he has a great mind for offense coordinator. I mean, I guess Brady gets credit for that Super Bowl, or obviously, but I mean, Byron Leftwich was calling the plays. So I'm just saying.
Hey, so was Eric Bieniemy, and how much did that work out for him? Yeah. I think. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure we didn't leave out any. Daniel Jones, was he 1 or 2? Are we saying 1 or 2 rounds? I don't think he was a number 1 or number 2.
He wasn't a number 1. He was a number 7, 6 or 7. I think he was around there. So he wasn't.
Yeah, he was 6. Yeah, because I don't think he was anywhere.
Because the Giants moved up to get him, and it was a shocker because he was supposed to go that high.
Yeah, and now we see why. The third man coming in. Do you start Tua versus the G-Man's defense or Captain Kirk? Captain Kirk all the way for me.
Yeah, and
so it had to be the scapegoat, and it was Byron. Oh yeah. If anyone's gonna tell us about Tampa Bay, it would be the third. It would be the third man. Yeah. Let us know. I'm in the shootout. Hey, but I say this. Somebody on this show, actually both of us, said that 70-point thing that we saw from Tua and the Dolphins was not going to go over against the Bills. Yeah. Shut that down instantly, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I think they revive it against the Giants, though. Yeah.
I mean, against the Giants, they should.
Yeah.
They should destroy the Giants.
Yeah.
They should.
Maybe not 70, but
Not 70, but I think.
Because that was just crazy. But yeah, they should have a much better game against the Bills. Because we say, hey, defense wins championships.
Yes.
And the Bills have a better defense. So we saw that 70 was just because the Broncos are awful. I'm with you. But yeah, definitely starting Captain Kirk in the shootout with Kansas City. I guess we went through everything, but if you want to go back and say the top players or players that you suggest for next week off that top list, what do you want to do?
I mean, we can go over the quarterbacks. We got to show some love to them. I mean, we got to.
Why just the quarterbacks?
I mean, we got running backs, wide receivers.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
You specifically said quarterbacks, so I'm just making sure we're not biasing. Cause
no, we're not biasing.
Everybody needs love.
I'm just saying.
Oh, what you got, bro?
Justin Fields, obviously, 28 of 35, 335, 4 touchdowns, and interception. That's why I say Justin Fields in a better offense.
On a better team.
Can be successful.
Mm-hmm. I think there's enough. I mean, it's preseason, but I think we've seen enough to suggest that, Justin Fields can be a productive player. But he has to be in the right system with the right coach, like you said.
Yeah.
They didn't design that team with Justin Fields in mind. I don't know why not, but they haven't.
Speaking of that Buffalo game, Josh Allen, 21 of 25, 320, 4 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts, 25 of 37, 319, 2 touchdowns. There you go, Philly. He's throwing for 300 yards.
I figured people would like that. Yes.
Yes, I thought he would too. Matthew Stafford, 27-40, 319 and a touchdown. Matthew Stafford on the low has been really good this year, to be honest with you.
I have Matthew Stafford for one of my teams, and I did not want to draft him, but he was the guy available. I'm extremely happy I did. It's working out.
And my rookie of the year, C.J. Stroud, 16-30, 306.
Is he your rookie of the year or my rookie of the year?
I got him as rookie of the year.
I remember.
Nah, I don't remember nothing.
I remember somebody.
I don't remember nothing.
Look.
I don't remember nothing.
How convenient.
How convenient. But I remember I did a fantasy football show with somebody. Our producer might recall this too. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure we agreed that C.J. Stroud was the best pick out of the three rookie guys.
I never said he wasn't.
Given the chance to draft, you took.
Because the news was saying that he may not start right away. So and in Dynasty I needed a quarterback. So I'm just saying.
Somebody else on the show needed a quarterback too, and they took C.J. Stroud. How's that working out for you?
I'm 3-1 in Dynasty, so it don't matter. I'm just saying.
Look, I was expecting to tank in Dynasty this anyway, so I don't care. So that means next year when I have my young dudes, guess who's still gonna be on top? That dude right there. So I don't care about this year.
Look,
it's called Dynasty.
I'm trying to follow your suit. I'm trying to follow your suit and tank myself, but it's kind of hard for me to tank this. I don't know why.
You can't tank when you're so good. I hear you.
Jeez, I don't understand it. Jeez, oh my God. But no, I think C.J. Stroud. And you know what I like about C.J. Stroud?
Well, I wouldn't say nothing. Tank Dell is a little something. I like this. I wasn't a believer in Tank Dell in the preseason, in the offseason and all that, but I picked him up everywhere I could because that guy is that's what I'm doing. So it's awesome. Did I lose you? Oh, there you go. Okay. We lost you for a second.
Yeah.
I see in the comments that you left out for quarterback.
Baker didn't hit that 300 threshold. You know the rules up here. Stop it, man. Come on, man. You got to hit 300 yards, man, for me to talk about you. There's only one person I'm talking about, and they hit for 300 yards I ain't talking about, and you know who that is. So, Derrick Henry, the real Derrick Henry, 22 carries, 122 yards, a touchdown, and he threw for a touchdown. So, David Montgomery, 32 carries, 121, 3 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco, 20 carries, 115 and a touch. CMC, the real reason why the 49ers are winning, 20 carries, 106, 3 touchdowns. You like the dig I just did, right?
Yeah, that was nice. That was nicely done.
I appreciate it. Bijan, 14 carries, 105 yards, 0 touchdown. He averaged 7.5 yards per attempt, and they're still losing. Again, that's why they needed to draft a quarterback, not a running back.
Yeah,
you can run all day long, and you still can lose. AJ Brown, now receptions.
I'm sorry, yes. I didn't know you moved on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I throw in? Can I throw in some love for Josh Jacobs? I just want to throw in a little Josh Jacobs love because we talked about how he went from the best running back in the game to basically nothing. He finally had a breakout game, more receive. Okay. Maybe you were going to put him in with receivers because he was actually better as a receiver than he was as a rusher. But I'm just glad there was a Josh Jacobs sighting this week. Okay, you can go back to your wide receivers. I'm sorry.
Okay. AJ Brown, 9 receptions, 175, 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins, your guy. 7 receptions.
I'm for all Houston Texans wide receivers right now. Yeah.
168, 2 touchdowns. Puka, 9 receptions, 163 and a touch. Brandon Ayuk, love him. Been trying to tell y'all. 6 receptions, 148, and no touchdowns. And I forgot to put a 5th receiver because I was rushing today. Stop
what you're doing. I see in the comments C.J. Stroud is available. Stop watching our show. I don't say this too much. Go pick C.J. Stroud up right now. Okay, back to
Yeah,
you.
what are y'all doing? Why is he
Oh,
available?
if you have why you stop, you got a question too. So
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go to the question, but that one just popped up. That just popped up. I was like, hold on, wait. CJ Stroud's available? No, go grab him now. Okay, back to you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why is he available?
Depends on
Don't
what
ask
league,
questions.
but I will say this: if it's the women's, no, he's not available in the women's league. I don't think.
Maybe it's the Comedy Club League.
Okay, yeah, I don't. He's not
Yeah.
available. No, because we looked that up earlier. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not
Well,
the women's.
if
league.
you see CJ Stroud jump now, you should. I said it 30 seconds ago. You should have already done it. All right, I'm sorry. Finish your wide receiver list, because then we got a question from Reese. We want to make sure we get
I don't
to.
have. I was rushing today, obviously, because you know why. But I forgot a fifth receiver, so
You don't
give
have
me
to have
one.
five. It's not a rule.
I mean, I like to have 5.
Yeah, five is a good number.
Five is
Any
a good
love
number.
to tight ends? I think this is finally a week you can give some love to a tight end.
Look, man, I was like really rushing, man.
Cole Commit finally looked relevant. He didn't hit 100 yards. He hit like 85, but he had
Yeah.
2 touchdowns. And so, somehow Cole Commit was super fantasy relevant, and the Bears still lost that game. All right, Reese has a question for. Let's go to that one. Who are you going with for PPR? Alexander Madison or Pacheco? Pacheco.
Pacheco.
Yeah.
But Madison has been playing well lately.
I don't care.
He's
Pacheco.
been- he don't care. He was like, I don't care. You
Look,
gotta stop.
I say
You gotta
this.
start with-
They.
You gotta
I,
start with the hate.
I am an Alexander Madison hater, so
You gotta start with the hate.
I am
You
a
gotta-
hater. But that
Yeah.
game should be good with them playing against each other.
Yeah.
Cam Akers, do you think is this the
Not
game
even.
where we see more Cam
No.
Akers, or we just no?
No. Madison is getting
Madison
20
good?
carries he's getting about 19, 20 carries a game. And I think Cam Akers, I ain't gonna say he an afterthought. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna try to get him involved.
Right.
But I don't see him making a dent in that starting. Because I think Madison is picking up the pace now, finally. But yeah.
I see a comment that Richardson's a good rookie too. Yeah, rookie's a good. He ain't CJ Stroud though. I'm just saying.
He ain't CJ
He ain't CJ Stroud.
Now, I will say this.
But hey, he won a game without getting hurt.
I will say this.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson are
Yeah.
better than Bryce Young at this moment.
Yeah.
So,
That's
I will say that.
That's
if you're looking at the rookie quarterbacks right now, those two are better than Bryce Young right now. But is Bryce?
I think
Young
they're both in better situations
Wait.
also.
Yes.
But they've definitely been performing better. I'm gonna. Carla says that, by the way, CJ Stroud is not available in the women's fantasy football league. 'cause
yeah, I knew that.
She already grabbed him on
She
that.
said, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna comment on this Nita thing that's been coming up several times. I'm gonna tell you something that somebody said in one of my leagues. When someone doesn't respond to your trade offer, that in itself is a response. I'm just
And
saying.
Also,
Yeah.
Nita,
I don't know what the trade was. But if people aren't getting back with you, they already got back with you.
So Nita, also
yeah.
you trade on back channels. You don't trade on a live podcast.
I'm-
So if you're gonna trade,
calling-
you do it.
Calling
you
people out.
Yeah, you trade on back channels. You
Or
talk to
text.
the person, text. Or
Text,
something.
call, hey, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
let's work this deal out.
Let's work something out. But you
Let's
don't
work it
trade on a
But-
podcast.
but-
Like you kind of make that work behind the scenes.
But on the third time and you ain't heard back, yeah, they not
Don't
trying
worry
to get
about
back.
it. She ain't trying to hit.
That means up your trade. I think that's
Yeah.
what this. I think the comment is up your trade. Welcome,
Yeah,
Neek, to the show. They
going on,
traded ETN for Brees. Went
Love it.
for
Love it.
Yeah, went
Love
for the
it.
kill as soon as
Love
they
it.
heard
Love
Brees
it.
was
Love it.
taking off a snap count.
Love
I
it.
have
Every
Brees
bit of
Hall in a couple of leagues,
it. I'm playing him this
and
week.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I benched him. I think I just been rolling with it because I'm with you. I think the turnaround is coming, and I just been
Coming.
waiting. I'm like, okay, let's go. So
Playing him
yeah,
this week.
I love
got
that
him in one
trade.
league. Woo,
hmm
Can't wait.
Yeah,
I need him this week too, but he's definitely playing this week.
they, the rumor before the season started was that Travis Etienne was going to get like 1,600 yards.
Okay.
Never believe coaches. Yeah,
No,
because
no.
when he said it, I was like, no, he's not. Doug
No,
Peterson
not really.
lying right now, all cap. all cap right now. But yeah, that's a great trade. Do you think Carlos Carter? Do you think Eckler will be back soon?
Yes, he'll be back after the bye week.
Yeah, yeah. He
should have played this week, but I think they gave him one more week because they was going on the bye. So he should be back after the bye week.
Yeah, so he'll be back to getting touchdowns and helping you win fantasy football games in no time.
Yeah, so. He should be good. Don't worry about it.
All right. Before we go, any other bye week suggestions for people, not just for this week, but going forth into the rest of the season? Because like we said, this is when it starts. What you doing?
As far as bye weeks, like if you're an inexperienced fantasy football player, this is where you get your experience because you have to learn how to manage. Is certain steps to fantasy football. Obviously, drafting the first 4 weeks are good because you don't have to make any real changes. This is where you learn how to play fantasy football because you have to make changes. You have to make the right changes at the right time, and you might have somebody that you have never heard of do work this week, and you might just get lucky. But you gotta know the right moves.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, this is the biggest challenge for people in fantasy is changing over because of the next few weeks or up into I think it's week 12, 13 before they stop bye weeks or something like that. Up until then, you have to make changes. You have to adjust. You have to play guys you thought you would never play, but they got to be in the lineup because the guys you normally rely on are not going to be there because they're on bye week. On top of injuries already, so definitely you got to think about that. So.
I'll save my parting thoughts, but it's going to echo a lot of what you said. Hunter Henry or Pat Freiermuth. If Pat Freiermuth guaranteed to play this week, because I think he might not be in. Yeah, he's out this week.
He's out for 2 weeks.
So Hunter Henry is the right answer on that one. And I also see that C.J. Stroud, that was in the Comedy Club League. I'm looking at your roster now, though, and I see that you've added C.J. Stroud. Round of applause. Because, the fact
Colin,
that...
the one guy I will pick up if I was you, look at Washington. End. Washington, the backup for
Freiermuth. Deion Washington? Yeah.
Is it? I think it's Deion Washington or Denzel Washington or something like that.
I think that's the
I think it's Denzel Washington.
You're talking about the Equalizer.
No, I think it's Denzel Washington. I want to say it's Denzel Washington, but Denzel Washington. I think you should take a look at Denzel Washington. He's the back. Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington.
So you were thinking the Equalizer.
Yeah, I was thinking Equalizer. Okay. I just watched the movie the other day, so yeah. But Darnell Washington is probably somebody you should pick up. From Pittsburgh. He's about 6'6", 6'7". He had a huge preseason. Not saying much, but I'm just saying he's a really big target, and
they're gonna need someone to fill in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you definitely would go after him if he's available, and which he should be.
He should. I don't think a lot of people would have jumped on him earlier. So yeah, Freiermuth had a hamstring, so he's doubtful. He's
doubtful for 2 weeks, but I think Washington's going to get a lot of play for the next 2 weeks. So I would definitely look at Washington, honestly, to try to fill in that role. Hunter Henry is not getting targets like that.
Really. Hey, he started off the year as the tight end, but it's you're relying on Mac Jones, and so that can be dangerous.
But definitely, if you can get Washington, try to get him. Definitely.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. Well, that's it for this week. And like I said, hey, more than anything else, make sure you're watching waiver wires. Make sure you're watching to keep up what's happening because these bye weeks are going to make or break your season. It's not just how you draft, it's how you manage during the year. So make sure you're staying on top of your game. And like Rodney said earlier, don't be afraid to play a guy that you maybe don't know with. Look at their stats. They have a thing called research that you can click on for your league. Do it. see what's going on. And hey, best of luck to everybody. And of course, every Wednesday we right here. If you got questions, let us know. Hope you all have a great week. According to what we started off the show with all of us losing, we're gonna have a better week next week. We all need to win more games, like you all out there are doing. So we look forward to talking with you again next week. Have a great night. Peace out.
Peace out.